I first met Paolo Branca and Antonio Cuciniello when I was doing my own research on integration of Muslims in Italy, and was very impressed by the kind of work that they're doing over there. And when I found out that they were going to be coming here on a State Department tour, I asked them if it would be possible to come and visit BYU as well, and it worked out. Really grateful to have them here. The State Department, among other things, is bringing over European Muslims and also European scholars of Islam to see how integration of Muslims is taking place or not here in the United States. So it's a chance for them to observe the process in a different context. Just by way of introduction a little bit to what they're going to be talking about, wanted to set the stage somewhat. One scholar referred to not the clash of civilizations, but the marbling of civilizations that's been taking place in the last 40 or 50 years, with mass migrations of people around the globe, especially to North America, to Europe, to Australia. There's been this situation of what she called the marbling of civilizations, living side by side with people of different ethnicities and different religious orientations on a scale that's unprecedented, I think, in world history. Another scholar in a recent article in the Wall Street Journal talked about the centrifuging, I like that term, of millions of Muslims out of the heartlands of Islam and into the whole new world in Western societies. And I'm going to read just part of a quote here. The result of this process of centrifuging was a new historical reality for Muslims who were previously accustomed to belonging to either the majority or a very influential minority within their societies. Now they found themselves living for the first time as minorities within established and advanced non-Muslim majority societies. Muslims also from all over the globe, with all backgrounds, sects, and schools of thought, began living together in one place indefinitely, a new reality for them. Vastly different Muslims coexist in Mecca during the annual Hajj or pilgrimage, but this lasts only for a few days and just once in a lifetime. But to be stuck together permanently as a minority in one place is a new dynamic altogether. And this brought new challenges for Muslim identity. What does it mean to be a Muslim if you're not living in the Islamic heartlands? How do you define what is a Muslim and who is a Muslim? Secondly, it also raised questions about integration, assimilation, loyalty, etc. In these other areas of the world. So this is what we're going to be exploring today. Every day we read about these issues that come up, whether in Europe or here in the United States, USA Today. Fear is as bad as after 9/11 in Michigan and elsewhere. Talks about the situation of Muslim immigrants here in the United States. Article in the local newspaper, front page today, has to do with nationwide illegal immigrant raid. The whole issue of the influx of peoples across borders and boundaries of identity and culture and geography has created a lot of tense and difficult situations and dialogue and hostilities that we're dealing with here in Utah, in the West, the militiamen on the border of Mexico and the United States. How do we deal with this? Those are the questions that the Europeans are struggling with as well, as most of you know. And so Paolo Branca, who's a professor of Islamic studies at the Catholic University in Milan, a distinguished scholar, has published a lot on Islam and Islamic studies, but also on questions of immigration. He published a nice book called Restless Mosques. Mosche Inquiete is the name of it in Italian. And other articles, very active in promoting dialogue between Italians and immigrants. Antonio Cuciniello also has been teaching about Islam. Both of them have lived in Egypt extensively. The project that they're working on is to help Italian immigrants, Muslim immigrants in Milan area, where there are tens of thousands of immigrants, integrate more successfully. And I'll let them tell you more about that. But it's my pleasure to introduce, first we'll hear from Dr. Branca, Paolo Branca, and he'll talk a little bit more about the context and some of the problems, and then Dr. Cuciniello will talk to us about some of the things that they're doing in the Milan area. And we're grateful for Giovanni Tata to be here to do some translation. Giovanni and I are old friends. He was a 15-year-old convert to the Mormon Church in Taranto when I was a missionary there. So we go back a long ways. Let's welcome them here. Thank you.
Grazie, buongiorno a tutti. Io mi scuso di non riuscire a parlare la vostra lingua, ma forse ho speso troppo tempo a studiare l'arabo.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm happy to be able to deliver this talk. First of all, I'm not an interpreter, okay? So whatever comes out of my mouth will be basically the intent of the speaker, but I'll try to abbreviate some of the talk, because otherwise we just won't be able to make it today, okay? And sorry that he is not able to deliver the talk in English, but I guess he dedicated too much time to study Arabic.
Sono molto contento di essere qui oggi, sono molto ammirato delle vostre attività di ricerca e anche della dinamicità della società americana che abbiamo potuto constatare durante il nostro viaggio.
He's very happy to be here today to talk to you, and especially is very admiring of the dynamic, forces that are in this American society, and also here in Provo, Utah.
Non è facile riassumere in poche battute la situazione che ci troviamo ad affrontare in Europa, data la crescente presenza islamica. L'Europa e soprattutto l'Italia sono stati per secoli territori piuttosto omogenei dal punto di vista religioso e culturale, soprattutto cristiano.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic to talk about the Islamic issues in Italy and Europe, mainly because Italy and most of Europe have been throughout these past 20 centuries very homogeneous. They've been very homogeneous in their nature and in their dealings with every aspect of society.
La situazione è cambiata però molto rapidamente. Voi sapete che nella prima parte del Novecento qualcosa come 50 milioni di europei sono emigrati in America, in Australia, in altri continenti, mentre con il boom economico degli anni 60-70 l'Europa ha cominciato a diventare sempre di più un luogo di immigrazione.
In the last century, there's been a great change, and this change is accelerating in the last few years, because initially about 50 million Europeans immigrated to the States and other countries at the beginning of the century, at the later part of the 1900s and 1800s, and then most of the beginning of the 1900s, and so there was this huge influx of immigrants from Europe going to all parts of the world, especially North America. But after the 1960s, with the boom, the economic boom in Europe, we've seen a tremendous immigration into Europe.
L'arrivo soprattutto dei musulmani costituisce una novità, quindi molto impressionante e molto in crescita, rapidamente in crescita, tant'è vero che l'Islam è già la seconda religione d'Europa e anche la seconda religione d'Italia.
The influx of Muslims in Europe is a very crucial element in immigration topics, because what we have is that there has been this tremendous influx of people from Islamic countries, and now Islam has become the second largest religion in Europe. And so this brings with it a lot of issues that Europe has to learn to deal with.
Non c'è però una sola dinamica in Europa rispetto a questo fenomeno. Ogni situazione ha le sue particolarità. La Francia, la Gran Bretagna, la Germania sono molto diverse rispetto all'Italia.
Okay. The situation is different in most of the countries. The situation in France and Germany and Great Britain is very different from the Islamic immigration in Italy.
Innanzitutto perché questi paesi vedono una concentrazione etnica particolare. In Francia i magrebini, in Germania i turchi e in Gran Bretagna gli indopakistani, mentre in Italia non c'è un'etnia, una nazionalità dominante rispetto alle altre.
That's because in each country there's been a very distinct group of immigrants, especially in France from North Africa, and from Turkey, in Great Britain from Pakistan and some of the other countries with a high concentration of Muslims. But in Italy, you don't have any great ethnicity in ethnic group that has come from any particular country. So you have a greater variety of people from all different countries.
In più la situazione in Italia può cambiare sensibilmente da città a città, a seconda appunto dei leader, dei gruppi organizzati che i musulmani hanno.
And in Italy there is also a great differentiation between cities and cities in Italy, because it depends on what major group moved into that city, and that will delineate the character of the group that immigrated to that particular city.
Siamo ancora nella prima fase dove predomina la prima generazione di immigrati, i quali hanno paura di essere assimilati, di perdere la loro cultura originaria, la loro fede, e la società ospitante, cioè quella italiana, ha paura dell'invasione da parte degli estranei.
Basically, we're dealing with still with the first generation of immigrants who are very concerned about losing their ethnicity and their religious character. And while the Italians are worried about, losing control of their traditions and other aspects of their typical Italian culture.
Ma stiamo passando rapidamente alla fase in cui una seconda generazione di musulmani nati in Italia o cresciuti in Italia, arrivati in Italia quando erano molto piccoli, pochi mesi o pochi anni di vita, sta cominciando a formare quello che noi chiamiamo un inizio di un Islam europeo, non un Islam in Europa, ma un Islam d'Europa.
But an interesting thing that is happening with the young, very young immigrants, or those that came here when they were in their infancy, or the ones that were born in Italy, at the beginning of the immigration. Because now what's happening is that we have this, not Islams in Europe, but European who are who are Muslim, and it's a different character in this new generation.
Purtroppo la situazione nell'opinione pubblica è ancora molto polarizzata, soprattutto dopo l'11 settembre. Noi abbiamo la maggioranza delle persone che hanno paura dell'Islam e vorrebbero che i musulmani se ne andassero, e all'estremo opposto abbiamo invece dei relativisti che credono che l'integrazione avverrà spontaneamente, senza problemi.
Right now, what we have is the fear, especially after 9/11, of a portion of the population who's worried about these Muslims and what their influence will have on the society, and would like to see them gone. And on the other side, we have people who look at things from more a different perspective. You use the word relativists, and these people believe that the integration will happen naturally, and that we should just allow things to develop by themselves.
Io penso che queste due posizioni estreme, che purtroppo sono quelle prevalenti, siano entrambe stupide e inadeguate.
He believes that these two factions are both wrong and stupid, and they're not adequate to the actual situation in Italy.
Il guaio è che in mezzo a queste due posizioni estreme c'è il deserto.
The problem is that between these two opposite views, there is a big desert.
Persino le istituzioni pubbliche, sia civili che religiose in Italia, fanno pochissimo per intervenire in questa situazione.
And basically, even the institutions in Italy do not have an adequate approach in solving the issues, and basically they really don't know what they're doing.
Per questo noi ci stiamo impegnando da anni nel cercare di lavorare sul terreno tra la gente nella vita quotidiana, certamente con l'appoggio delle istituzioni, finanziamenti anche e soprattutto da fondazioni private, perché questo che è un problema diventi una chance, un'opportunità.
And they have been working in the past years to try to solve the problems of this integration, and with the assistance from the institutions, but especially from private foundations, to help solve the problem by actually going into the community, the Islamic community, and trying to solve the problems with them.
Io credo che possa essere veramente una provvidenza per noi che stiamo perdendo le nostre radici culturali e religiose, la provocazione positiva di una presenza religiosa differente, e per questo lavoro in questo settore. Ma mi fermo qui perché il tempo corre velocemente e è importante che Antonio vi dica qualcosa sul progetto specifico della scuola.
And this is one of the reasons why he selected this field to dedicate his efforts, is because that he can see that there is a great opportunity for us to be able to look at this challenge as a great opportunity for Italians to be able to create something new out of this situation, and to benefit both parties, the immigrants and the Italian culture.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I just try to speak English, but I'm so happy. We are so glad to be here just to share our Italian experience concerning the integration of Muslims. I mean, Muslims and also Arab, because you know that Arabs are not only Muslims but also Christians and Jews. So, Arabic integration in the Italian society. So I'm just going to share with you a project focused on the Arabic language that we called Apriti Sesamo, that is in English Open Sesame, and in Arabic Iftah Ya Simsim. And the focus, just like I told you before, on the teaching of Arabic language to Arabic students who were born in Italy or who came in Italy very, very young. So actually they don't know the modern standard Arabic. Maybe they know dialects, for example, Egyptian or Moroccan, but actually they don't know modern standard Arabic, that is, first of all, the language of the culture. So, in this project, there are two labs. The first one is the lab concerning the Arabic language, and for students attending the Italian public school. So it is just an extra subject. It is not in the main subject of the school. I mean, we have these labs in the afternoon or on Saturday when there are no classes. But, you know, this project was born just 2 years ago, so it's still young. So step by step we will improve this project. The second lab is the Italian language for adults. I mean, parents or relatives of students attending the lab of Arabic language. So it is working on a double direction for the students, I mean for the pupils, and then for the adults as well. And since we think that in a project like Open Sesame, whose aim is the safeguard, I mean protection, or in some cases the rescue of the language and culture of origin, we created some bilingual tools in order to understand the motivational aspects of the students. Because, you know, sometimes, okay, they live in Italy, and maybe they are not so interested in attending a lab of Arabic because they feel Italians. So, you know, it's a really particular project in this sense. So I'm just going to read what Fatima, 16 years old, wrote, and the tools is maternal language, thoughts, and feelings. So it's just a brainstorming, okay? So she wrote, I'm Berber. Berber or Berberian? Berber, yeah, Berber. And I speak the dialect, so not Arabic, with my parents and in my country. But I'd like to speak Arabic, the language spoken in the Arabic Islamic world. My biggest dream is to speak my language, that is Arabic. My mother and my father would like me to know it and to speak it well. When I am in Morocco, I would like to feel, I would not like to feel like a stranger, like a fonera. I don't want to have something or to be something less than my friends in Morocco. And once my mother told me that her biggest dream is that her children could learn reading the Quran. Fatima, 16 years old. But at the same time, we try to understand also which is the relationship between the students and the Italian language. Because actually, sometimes the first language is Italian, not Arabic. So they study modern standard Arabic just like a foreign language, because they use Italian at school. They use Italian with friends. But sometimes they use Arabic at home. And when I say Arabic, I mean the dialect, not modern standard Arabic. That is the one we teach in the school, in the lab. So the language that they use, I mean Italian, to study, but also to interact with their friends. And Jasmine, 17 years old, wrote. So the title of the tool is Italian Language, Thoughts and Feeling as well. For me, the Italian language is almost everything. It is my language, with which I express myself, I think, I joke, I study, and I live. The Italian language is indispensable because it is my maternal language. You see, it is her maternal language. I think that it shall be my future. So in her future, she says Italian, not Arabic. And I want to be sure that my future should be rich, shall be rich. So I should complete my culture and my knowledge in the linguistic field concerning English and Arabic. So actually her first language is Italian, but she wants to know absolutely Arabic and English as well, because she wants a rich future. Okay? Anyway, it makes me too excited. Even if, being sincere, Arabic does as well. So Jasmine, 17 years old. And at the same time, Jasmine, 17 years old, she wrote concerning maternal language, so the Arabic, feelings and thoughts. I think about Egypt. So when she thinks about Arabic, she thinks about Egypt, okay? Because her parents are Egyptian. So I think about Egypt, about good time I spent with my relatives. I think about the future. I mean, what I could be and do for Egyptians all around the world. Sorry. So not only for Egyptians living in Italy or in Egypt, but for all Egyptians. I think about what I could be able to give to my country, that is Egypt. What I could offer to Egyptians all around the world. I would like to know my language, because it is important for me. It is my last destination. So, you see, Jasmine, 17 years old. So, which are the aims of this lab? I mean, the lab of Arabic language. You know that in Europe there is, I don't know how do you say, quadro comune europeo delle lingue.
The common European framework.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Common European framework for languages. So we have A1, A2, B1, B2, just like you say beginners or intermediate or advanced, okay? So we use this framework in this lab. And first of all, we want to develop a rich linguistic field in which every competence has to be valued. So not only Arabic. Number two, to increase the value of the culture and the language of origin. Just like in equal opportunity and citizenship as well. Because it is just like a base for the integration. But we want to, as well to develop and to strengthen the communication abilities concerning modern standard Arabic. Because actually they don't know modern standard Arabic. And so if in future they want to know modern standard Arabic, they will be cut off from their own culture. But we want as well to comply with the family's requests, which means to preserve for their children the links with the language and the culture of origin as well. Number 5, we want to experiment with a teaching pattern in order to give value to L1. That is the first language that they use sometimes like a foreign language. Just like, for example, when they study English or French or German, they study Arabic as well. Number 6, to single out the other languages' possibilities to adapt this pattern. So now we start with Arabic, but this pattern will be also adopted for Chinese or for Tagalog or for, I don't know. Okay, because sometimes they told us, why Arabic and not Chinese or Japanese or Tagalog or what else? Or Spanish, yeah. But first of all, because, you know, just like Professor Branca told us, the Arab community is maybe the most problematic one, in the sense that they used to make lots of requests. That is their own right to preserve the language and the culture. That is richness in a multicultural society. But of course, we made also we worked a lot to for the training of teachers that are all mother tongue. I'm a supervisor in this project, but the teachers are all mother tongue. So it is very important for us to focus on this aspect. And there was at the beginning also a seminar of training for teachers. And first of all, I mean, just before the seminar of training, we had also a selection of the teacher. We met lots of people who sent us their CV. And first of all, actually, we met 35 candidates, I mean teachers, men and women, Christians and Muslims, of the following nationalities: Algerian, Egyptian, Moroccan, and Tunisian as well. So we pay lots of attention concerning the aspect of religion, because they are not only Muslims but also Christians, and they are not only men but also women. And we also focused on important features: experience in the field of education, level of standard Arabic language, that is just like I told you before, not the same for dialects. Because even if they got a degree in their own countries, it doesn't mean that they know Arabic. You see, I mean modern standard Arabic. And first of all, their level of Italian language, because they must know Italian. Because it's useless that they teach Arabic for, Arabic students, but that are who are attending Italian schools. So their school is an Italian school, not an Egyptian school or a Moroccan school. So it's important that, first of all, they know the system of Italian school, but also the language that is Italian. And during the seminar of training, we focused on the learning, preservation, and use of the language and culture of origin in a migratory context. Because sometimes most of these students attending, for example, primary school or just 2 years of primary school in Egypt or in Tunisia, and then they came to Italy. So they changed the system of the school and the language. So teachers must know the system of Italian school, but also the interconnection between migratory experience and the process of acquisition of the maternal language in a different context. I mean, when you learn Arabic in your own country, that is Egypt or Tunisia, it's not just like to learn Arabic in Italy, because you use Arabic in Italy just like a foreign language. It is not your L1. Maybe it is your L3, because actually your L2 is Italian. You see? And as well, we shared some theoretical coordinates of reference and methodological lines. Because, methodology is another important point, because they used to teach in Egypt or in Algeria or in Tunisia in a different way. They are very strong. They are focused on the memorization. That is not our purpose in the Italian school. We want a critic point of view. Not only to memorize things and just to say blah, 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 blah. It's useless. And but if we want that everything goes on, it is very important to have a pedagogical and didactic monitoring with reference supervisors. the main aims are the construction of a critical thoughts on the context and on the educational action. Because sometimes, there are some professors, some teachers, that they don't want their students to attend a lab of Arabic because they are afraid. Because some teachers say, if he becomes stronger and stronger in Arabic, it could be a detriment for his culture, or he could reach his culture, that is the Islamic one. So you see, it is a very difficult process and project just to make them understand that to know my own culture and my own language is a richness, not only for me, but for the society where I live. Thank you.
So if you have any questions, Jana is in the back with the microphone.
What can we do to help?
Where and con chi?
And with whom? The question was, how can we help? And he answered, where and with whom?
A quale livello?
And to what level?
Io penso che forse la risposta generale possa essere questa. Non dobbiamo chiuderci e non dobbiamo incoraggiare la chiusura da parte loro.
Well, the basic answer that he would give is that we have to make sure that we do not close doors to anybody that wants to help, and especially to the community that needs to be helped.
E non incoraggiare quelli che di loro vogliono chiudersi.
And especially do not encourage those of the immigrant communities that really do not want to open up to help from whatever assistance that we can provide.
In Italia e in Europa c'è una specie di guerra mediatica per cui c'è una certa immagine dell'Islam e una certa immagine dell'Occidente. L'Occidente è progredito, liberale, democratico, l'Islam è arretrato, violento, fanatico.
The problem in Europe is, and maybe that could be the same here too, is that there is this problem with the media, okay, that portrays the Europeans as the Western civilization, the more open, the more progressive, while the Islamic civilization, whenever you turn on the news, you hear that whenever Islam is portrayed as violent, closed, and fanatic.
Abbiamo dimenticato che le radici della cultura mediterranea, oltre che greche e latine, sono anche arabe e islamiche.
We have forgotten that the origin of the roots of the Western society are not only Greek and Latin, but also from the Arabic culture.
Quindi la presenza dei musulmani tra di noi potrebbe essere un'occasione per noi e per loro per ricominciare a imparare insieme quello che abbiamo dimenticato.
So the presence now of this great influx of Muslim immigrants is a great opportunity for us to work together to relearn the things that we have forgotten.
Purtroppo non è quello che si fa, insomma, purtroppo.
Unfortunately, that's not what's happening.
Ma con le nuove generazioni qualcosa sta succedendo.
But with the new generations, maybe this is possible to do.
I'm interested in the Apriti Sesamo project, so I don't know if I should ask this question first in Italian, then in English, or if I can just go ahead and do it in Italian. Okay, I'll ask it in Italian, then ask it in English. Per più degli ultimi 35 anni in Germania c'è un progetto simile, nel senso che ci sono i figli degli immigrati italiani che sono dialettofoni, sono madrelingua tedeschi, ed è il Ministero della Pubblica Istruzione italiana che infatti paga i corsi in italiano sabato sera, eccetera, per questi bambini tedeschi che sono dialettofoni, e l'incentivo per loro è che una volta che riescono a completare questi corsi ricevono un'equivalenza della scuola elementare o della scuola media italiana, per cui rientrando in Italia hanno questa competenza scolastica. Se c'è qualche cosa di simile nel progetto Apriti Sesamo. Adesso se aspetta un secondo lo traduco. Okay, in English. There's a very similar project to the Apriti Sesamo project in Germany. For the past 35 years or so, the children of Italian immigrants who are in fact Italian dialectophones but are German citizens are asked to attend these afternoon schools and Saturday courses in which they are taught standard Italian, and the incentive for them is that once they complete this curriculum, they do get, which is by the way paid from the Italian Education, the Italian Ministry of Education. They do get the equivalency of an elementary school certificate or a middle school certificate. And so I'm wondering, in your progetto Apriti Sesamo, who is in fact financing it, and what is the incentive for these dialectophones of Arabic languages to continue and listen to it?
Dunque, è giusto che prima di rispondere io faccia una premessa.
Let me just make a premise, though, before I answer that.
Okay. Allora, questo progetto, Apriti Sesamo, come anche un altro progetto che si chiama Laboratorio Interculturale, vanno storicizzati nella società italiana e primariamente in quella milanese.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to bring some historical background to this lab, Apriti Sesamo, and also to another lab which is very similar called Intercultural Lab. Because of it's important to explain where it came from.
Dunque, 2 anni fa, agli inizi di settembre, è stata chiusa una scuola islamica, la scuola islamica di Via 40.
Okay. Quanto tempo fa?
2 anni fa.
2 years ago they closed an Islamic school in Milano, vero? In Milano. Called
Via 40.
Via 40, number 40.
Si trattava di una scuola illegale, perché non a norma di legge, che però è esistita per 16 anni.
It was not really recognized by the government, so in a sense it was not illegal, but because they could, anybody can teach whatever they want, but it was not recognized, so whatever degree the students or diplomas the students received was not recognized by the Italian government. But it's a school that existed for 16 years.
Quindi agli inizi di settembre, ossia all'inizio dell'anno scolastico di 2 anni fa, è stata chiusa questa scuola. Si trattava di una scuola frequentata principalmente da bambini e bambine di origine egiziana.
This school was mainly open to kids from Egyptian origin, and it closed just September of 2 years ago. But that was the main background of the students that came to the school.
Chiaramente è facile immaginare che molte di queste famiglie che mandavano i loro bambini e le loro bambine in questa scuola non erano molto aperti e non cercavano certamente di integrarsi nella società italiana.
And one of the problems was that the parents of these children that went to the school were not really open to the integration of their kids in the Italian society, but they wanted to make sure that they kept their Egyptian individuality, character.
Chiusa questa scuola, il provveditorato agli studi, che è l'ufficio scolastico della Lombardia, ha proposto a queste famiglie di iscrivere i loro figli nella scuola pubblica, ma allo stesso tempo promettendo loro anche un corso, un laboratorio di lingua e cultura araba.
When they closed the school, the Italian institution in charge of the school system for the region promised the families that they would, by closing the school, they would open some labs in the normal schools where the kids would be able to attend and learn the language.
Quindi ecco perché questi due progetti devono essere storicizzati, ma chiaramente va anche detto che si sono inseriti in un contesto italiano scolastico molto 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 critico.
But it's important to know that these students have been inserted into an Italian school system that has some critical problems.
Di fatto, nelle linee guida scolastiche si dice che bisogna valorizzare la lingua e la cultura di origine, ma di fatto il Ministero della Pubblica Istruzione non lo fa.
Okay. The intent is to give value to the native tongues of the kids, or at least of their families, but in reality the school system, the government, does not recognize this.
Non a caso i soldi per questo progetto vengono da fondazioni private.
And as a matter of fact, that's why most of the funding for these projects come from private sources.
Quindi il nostro progetto è in continuo divenire. Okay. Abbiamo noi incontrato i docenti, li abbiamo formati, li stiamo seguendo e siamo qui anche perché stiamo cercando nuovi materiali.
And and that's why we decided to go ahead and set up this program, because the government was not meeting the needs of the students, and so they created the program and trained the teachers, and also the reason why they're going around the world and to speak and to talk to other people is to find out material that they can use in their program.
Spero di aver dato una risposta, ma questa è la nostra situazione, quindi la Germania, la Francia sono già a un livello superiore, anche perché la loro è un'immigrazione che è già alla terza, quarta generazione, noi siamo appena alla seconda generazione.
Yeah. Well, mainly because you can't really make the comparison with what's happening in Germany, because the programs in Germany and France and some of the other countries where the Italian government subsidizes some of these programs, is that in most cases this had been going on for a long time, and they're in the third and fourth generation, while in Italy it's just beginning, and basically it's just for the second generation immigrants.
Well, we thank you for attending, and we thank our hosts. They will stay after for a little while if you have other questions for them. Thank you.